बस चलिए तो स्टार्ट कर दो। ओके, अस्सलामुअलैकुम, कैन यू हेयर मी? ओके, अस्सलामुअलैकुम। Today your topic is drug use in the management of osteoporosis and osteomalacia. So today we will discuss only the osteo. Okay, first before starting, ये स्क्रीन नहीं हो रही है तारिक? Drug use in the management of osteoporosis. Before going to the actual topic, you know what is osteoporosis. Okay, it is a skeleton systemic disease in which there is a low bone mass and micro architectural deterioration of bone tissue lead to bone fragility and susceptibility to fracture. You can see here, this is the bone. This is a normal bone, healthy bone, and osteoporotic bone. And what do you mean by osteoporosis? Osteoporosis is a condition that is associated with decreased bone mass, and this result from increased bone resorptions, mineral deposition, increased mineral excretion, or combination which remove the calcium from the body. And there are many that are associated with the development of osteoporosis. And these factors that include the premature menopausal age or Cascadian or Oriental race, and there are certain drugs can cause the osteoporosis. What are the drugs? Example is the corticosteroids, phenytoin, smoking, alcoholism, and another factor is the family history of osteoporosis. Okay, osteoporosis can occur in the elderly patients. An elderly may be male and may be female, but it most commonly occur in female. It means the incidence in women is greater as compared to the men. And why it is greater? It is related to the diminished estrogen availability. It means the estrogen is the calcium. Decreased estrogen can cause the decreased calcium absorptions. Okay, there are different causes. The primary cause and the secondary cause. You know, the osteoporosis result from an unhealthy imbalance between the two normal activities of the bone. We have two cells, osteoclast cells and osteoblast cells. Imbalance between these two. What are the normal activities of the bone? One is the bone resorptions and one is the bone formations. The bone resorption can cause by osteoclast cells and bone formation by osteoblast cell. When there is a imbalance, the bone become osteoporotic. It means the combined allow the healthy skeleton to be maintained, continuity or to become healthy by the removal of the old bone and its replacement with new bone. And these combined processes are called as remodeling and turnover. I have told you the different risk factors that can cause the osteoporosis. And the risk factor may be the drug, may be early postmenopause, and the drug may be corticosteroid, phenytoins, alcohol. Osteoporosis have been there two type of the symptoms, silent. We also osteoporosis have term as a silent disease because until a fracture can occur, symptoms are absent. What are the key clinical manifestations? Are the vertebral fractures. Why we call it a silent disease? Because there is no symptoms until a fracture can occur. And most common fracture is the vertebral and hip. And classification of the osteoporosis, we classify into two types, type 1 and type 2. And I have told you this is can occur in elderly men or women, and greater it can occur, the greater can cause by in female as compared to the male. And this is occurred due to the deficiency of the estrogen activity due to postmenopausal. So type 1 is the menopausal osteoporosis, can occur mainly in a person at the age of 51 to 75. 6 times more common in women, type 1 menopausal, and it is associated how you observe vertebral and Colles fracture, that is distal radius fracture, that is common at the age of 51 to 75 years. And second is called as senescent, or we call it as budhapa. Osteoporosis can occur in the age of over 60, and it is 2 times more common in women, and that is associated with vertebral and hip fractures. It means that type 1 that is associated with vertebral and radius fractures, and type 2 that occur over the age of 60. So in that case there is a vertebral and hip fractures. So this is the two types of osteoporosis, type 1, and this is the primary that occur in adult. And why primary osteoporosis occur? It is thought it is result from the hormonal changes that occur with the ages, particularly decreased level of the sex hormone, mainly the estrogen in women and testosterone in men. And several other factors are contributed, but the main cause is this, and testosterone levels. So these are the risk factors for the osteoporosis. Advanced age or female sex are more involved, estrogen deficiency, especially the women who have a less than 40 age, early menopause, or the patient who have a bilateral ovary or prolonged menopausal amenorrhea more than 1 year, or Caucasian race. Second, patient who have a family history of osteoporosis or drug history, low calcium intake, inadequate physical activity or drug में glucocorticoid or use of the corticoid and the phenytoins, alcohol, smoking. These are the risk factors for osteoporosis. Okay, another is the secondary osteoporosis. These are the primary. Secondary process, many other. Secondary osteoporosis in patient, it is common in all ages. And these osteoporosis can be treatable or have an important effect on prognosis is more. Secondary causes. Okay. And what are the available treatment? What are the drug used for the treatment of osteoporosis? One is the calcium and vitamin D. Second is the hormonal replacement therapy, HRT, and third is the selective estrogen receptor modulator, SERM. And second is the non-hormonal treatment, that is the bisphosphonate. And third, fourth is the calcitonin, is the hormonal, and the hormone, and the different arranged treatment, non-pharmacological intervention. The main important is the pharmacological drugs, that is the bisphosphonate is the most important. So what are the available treatment? Calcium, vitamin D, hormone replacement therapy, estrogen receptor modulator, bisphosphonate, calcitonin, parathyroid hormones. So calcium, they have many benefits and adverse effects. Slow rate of absorption, bone loss occur, reduction of the fracture. In some studies show the reduction levels. So we give with the other osteo management, we give the calcium. And what are the risks or you can the side effect GIT upset can cause and the constipations. The side effect of the constipation and the kidney stones. So we use the calcium with the other therapy. And the calcium, what is calcium? If the patient have the adolescent, so what is the daily requirement? The age up to 65 years. The adolescence has required 1200 to 1500 milligrams, while the adult up to 65 years 1000 milligrams. And the postmenopausal women or elderly women, they require or daily intake is the 1500 milligrams. And you should know the preparations, calcium preparations, right? Because in the examiner asks in the exam, name the calcium preparation, you should know what are the preparations that are available in the market. The example is the calcium citrate, calcium lactate, calcium gluconate, calcium carbonate plus vitamin D2. So you should know at least the name. Don't go the how much, but you should know the calcium citrate, calcium lactate, calcium gluconate, calcium carbonate plus vitamin D. And second is the vitamin D is also essential for the intestinal absorption of the calcium. So you should know the daily requirement of the vitamin D. The patient have developed the vaginal bleeding, breast tenderness, and deep pain and pulmonary embolism. And some evidence show the prevention of fracture. And again, there is a disadvantage or is the increased risk of the breast cancer after long-term use. And the weak evidence show the primary prevention of chronic heart disease, improvement of the functions, and prevention of Alzheimer's disease. The slight risk of the endometrial cancer or slight increased risk. So what are the advantage of the hormone replacement therapy? 27% can cause reductions in the non-vertebral fractures, and 33% of patient taking the hormone replacement has reduction in the vertebral fractures. Treatment is the SERM, selective estrogen receptor modulator. And the drug is the tamoxifen and raloxifene. Again, they have a benefits and disadvantage, or you can the rest. Relief of menopausal symptoms, prevention of the bone loss, and again the risk factor is similar. HRT, hormone replacement therapy, after long-term use. And again there is a different opinion. The SERM replacement therapy, hormone selective estrogen receptor modulator therapy. And again there is a weak evidence that shows prevention of the chronic heart disease, improvement of the cognitive functions, and prevention of Alzheimer's disease. Similar with hormone replacement therapy. First, so what are the treatment? Calcium, vitamin D, HRT, and fourth one the SERM, selective estrogen receptor modulator. It will be discussed in separate in the hormonal modules, endocrine module. Here you only know the name, tamoxifen, both are used. And the most important, the non-hormonal agent is the bisphosphonate. It's a non-hormonal treatment. It is a potent inhibitor of bone resorption. And you know what do we mean by resorption? Is the bone breakdowns. They reduce the osteoclast recruitment and activity. It is and more effective treatment. So what are the benefits of the bisphosphonate? Potent inhibitor of bone resorption, reduce osteoclast recruitment and activity, safe and most effective treatment. And what are the disadvantages? It has a low oral bioavailability. It is not metabolized, not excreted. And again, there is a drug interaction or food interaction. So not given at the same times. Food, calcium, iron, coffee, tea, orange juices, they all decrease the absorptions of bisphosphonate. And they also cause the GIT discomfort. Rarely it can cause esophagitis. The disadvantage, again, they have a highly cost drug. The benefit is the potent inhibitor of bone resorption, reduce osteoclast recruitment activity, and safest drug and most effective treatment. And what are the disadvantages? They have a oral bioavailability is very low. And they interact with the food, calcium, iron, coffee, tea, orange, and juices. So not taken with the food and juices. They can cause the GI and rarely the esophagitis. And highly costive drug. Another group of the drug is the calcitonin. Calcitonin is the available synthetic polypeptide hormone. Normally, they are secreted by the thyroid T cells. And what are the actions? They directly inhibit the osteoclast activity. So, osteoclast activity. So, they inhibit the osteoclast cells and therefore bone resorptions is not occur. And probably can come down regulation of the osteoclast receptors. So calcitonin, it is available as a synthetic polypeptide hormone, and it is also administered hypercalcemic patient whose thyroid and parathyroid function normally. And it is also used in Paget disease. And what is the route of administration of the calcitonin? It is available for subcutaneous or intramuscular injections. And also available as a nasal spray. It was also available as a nasal spray. And what is the mechanism of action? They inhibit the accelerated bone resorptions. Okay. And the nasal spray, they are extracted from the salmon. And that is identical with the calcitonin, but of the humans, but it has a greater potency. And one of the calcitonin can cause allergic reaction, and when it can occur, it is to stop the therapy. And drug can cause the resistance. And resistance may occur due to the formation of antibodies. And what is the side effect of the calcitonin? It can cause the nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and inflammation at the site of injections. And the side effect of nasal spray can cause rhinitis, insomnia, anxiety, and headache. And another treatment is the parathyroid hormone. They also regulate the calcium homeostasis. It means they maintain the serum calcium concentration by stimulating the bone resorptions. Calcium concentration can decrease by bone resorption and by increasing the tubular calcium reabsorption, they increase the calcitriol productions. And the parathyroid hormone can also stimulate the bone formation when given intermittently. But they inhibit the collagen synthesis at high concentration. So what is the main action here? It stimulates the osteoclast mediated bone resorption. It also stimulates the gene expression and also increase the production of several local factors, that is the interleukin, growth hormone factor 1 and the growth hormone protein and prostaglandin. And the most approved parathyroid hormone that is used for the treatment of osteoporosis is teriparatide. The teriparatide synthetic hormone that are approved for the treatment of osteoporosis. Intermittent injection can stimulate the newborn formation to contrast the continuous infusion. So what are the parathyroid? Name the parathyroid that is used for the osteoporosis is the teriparatide. Now the treatment decision. Primary prevention, how to prevent the osteoporosis. To educate intake of the calcium and vitamin. HRT is not recommended for longer period because it has many adverse effects. And the randomized control trial shows the alendronate and raloxifene is beneficial. Alendronate and raloxifene is beneficial for the primary prevention of osteoporosis. With the secondary prevention, so we use the bisphosphonate, that is the residronate and alendronate, along with the calcium and vitamin D. Along with calcium and vitamin D, we use the bisphosphonate. Okay, we will discuss in detail. And other major, there are different predisposing factors to prevent, avoid the drugs that interact, or if the patient visual impairment is not correct, so you correct it. And we also use the external hip protector to decrease the risk of the hip fractures by 50% in small studies show by using the hip protectors. Okay, another slide says. Bisphosphonate is the non-hormonal drugs in details, because in this osteoporosis we use the vitamin D, calcium along with osteoporosis. So then we divide the bisphosphonate into two groups: non-nitrogen containing bisphosphonate and nitrogen containing bisphosphonate. The nitrogen containing bisphosphonate, that drug is edidronate, clodronate, teludronate. So non-nitrogen is the edidronate, clodronate and teludronate. And the nitrogen containing bisphosphonate, the palmidronate, neridronate, olpadronate, alendronate, ibandronate, risdronate and zoldronate. You should know the name of the nitrogen containing bisphosphonate and non-nitrogen containing bisphosphonate. So what is the non-nitrogen containing? Palmidronate, neridronate, olpadronate, alendronate, ibandronate, risdronate and zoldronate. Okay, now what is the mechanism of action of bisphosphonate? We have discussed the general mechanism. They inhibit the osteoclast bone resorption. So how they inhibit the bone resorption. Bisphosphonate, they attach to the hydroxyapatite, that is the binding site that is present on the bone surface. So bisphosphonate, they bind or they attach to hydroxyapatite binding site on the bone surface, especially those that undergoing to the active resorptions. So what will happen? They attach to the hydroxyapatite binding site that is present on the bony surface, especially the bisphosphonate attach at that time when these surfaces undergo active resorptions. So what will happen when osteoclasts begin to resorb bone? The best at that time bisphosphonate release during resorptions. They impair the ability, what will do? It impair the ability of the osteoclast to form the rougher surface. And bisphosphonate, they adhere to that bony surface. And normally the osteoclasts, they bind to the and that is adhered to the bony surface and produce proton that is necessary for the continuous bone resorptions. So bisphosphonate will do, they bind at that surface, ruffle border, and that is adhered to the bony surface and to inhibit the bone resorption. And second important action, the bisphosphonate also reduce the osteoclast activity by decreasing the osteoclast progenitors development and recruitment cells, and thereby promoting the osteoclast apoptosis. So there are three actions. Second action, bisphosphonate also reduce the osteoclast activity by decreasing the osteoclast progenitor development and recruitment, and by promoting the osteoclast apoptosis. And the mechanism of action, all the are similar. Only difference, structure is similar, but the important difference among the bisphosphonate is potency and toxicity. Potency and toxicity. Someone is more potent and other is less potent. And someone will produce the toxicity, other will not produce. You know the each and every drug's toxicity. So nitrogen containing bisphosphonate is the zoledronate, razidronate, ibandronate, alendronate, and neridronate. And palmidronate are more potent inhibitor of the bone resorption than the simple one, or we call it as non-nitrogen containing. That is atidronate, clodronate, and telludronate. Nitrogen containing bisphosphonate, that is zoledronate, razidronate, ibandronate, alendronate, neridronate, and palmidronate are more potent. Structure is similar, but the difference is potency and toxicity. Potency and toxicity. So nitrogen containing are the more potent as compared to the simple one, or you call it as non-nitrogen containing. And what is the actions of the nitrogen containing bisphosphonate? They primarily act by inhibiting the enzyme farnesyl pyrophosphatase, FPPT. FPP. The nitrogen containing, they inhibit this enzyme, and that is present in the cholesterol biosynthesis pathway. So they inhibit this enzyme, farnesyl pyrophosphatase, so resulting this disturbed protein prenylations, because this protein prenylation can create the cytoskeleton abnormalities in the osteoclast if the drug they inhibit this enzyme. So there is abnormalities can occur in the osteoclast cell, and also they promote the detachment of the osteoclast from the bone perimeter cells. And in this way, they reduce the bone resorptions. So what is the main actions of the nitrogen containing bisphosphonate? They inhibit this enzyme and they take part in the osteoclast. This enzyme is responsible for the osteoclast bone resorptions. So then the bisphosphonate that inhibit pyrophosphatase synthetase enzyme resulting, they disrupt the protein prenylation, and that resulting there is a cytoskeleton abnormalities occur in the osteoclast cells, and resulting that they can cause the detach the osteoclast from the perimeters, and in this way they reduce the bone resorption. So relative anti-resorptive potency of the individual nitrogen containing bisphosphonate relative within or within inhibit the phenyl pyrophosphatase among the other agents. Okay, someone have a more potency, someone have a less potency, but you should know the name of the drug they have that is more potent, bisphosphonate. While the bisphosphonate that is not nitrogen contained, they have different mode of action. They are metabolized by osteoclasts to metabolites, and that exchange with the terminal pyrophosphatase moiety of the ATP, resulting in ATP that is not required, and that is the source of energy. And then they undergo osteoclast, then undergo apoptosis. So simple bisphosphonate, that is the non-nitrogen containing, they are metabolized by osteoclast to its metabolite, where at the terminal pyrophosphatase moiety of the ATP, resulting ATP is not formed. So there is, because this is the source of energy, then what will happen? The osteoclasts that undergo apoptosis. And now the pharmacokinetic of the bisphosphonate is a very important, because the bioavailability is very less. Bioavailability of the bisphosphonate is less, because these drugs are poorly absorbed after oral administration, and absorption is best when the patient is given in the empty stomach, because the food they interact absorption so should be taken with empty stomach. Patient should be taken empty stomach. Oral bisphosphonates be taken only with water, and the patient then wait at least 30 minutes before ingesting food and other medications. More convenient or more convenient as compared to the IV. Once a weekly or monthly are available and preferred, that is the preferred route by most of the patient. So bioavailability is less, oral bioavailability is less, it means 5%. And absorption is best when patient have taken, or you should given on an empty stomach, and should be taken with water. And patient then wait at least 30 minutes for ingesting food and other medication. Convenient route. Intravenous preparation is also available. It is given less frequent dosing, because patient is and given on those patients who are unable to tolerate oral regimes. 70% of the absorbed bisphosphonate cleared by the kidney. Remaining 30% is taken up by the bone. Pharmacokinetic is very important. Bisphosphonate. It is cleared. Bisphosphonate are cleared rapidly from the plasma. Half-life is 1 hour, but it may persist in the bone for the patient lifetime. So what are we summarize? The oral bisphosphonates are poorly absorbed in the GIT, not metabolized, not excreted in urine. So enough drug is absorbed to produce clinically significant and difference in bone mineral density within 3 months. Bone density recover within 3 months by taking the bisphosphonate. And especially the improvement in the bone density in the spines and hip. Now the clinical uses of the bisphosphonate. What are the clinical conditions which we use bisphosphonate? It is given to the patient who have a excessive bone resorption, such as it can occur osteoporosis, hypercalcemia of any cause, metastatic bone disease, and Paget disease. They are also used to treat the heritable disorder in children, such as osteogenesis imperfecta. So clinical usage is also important regarding YOC, regarding BCQ. So clinical uses can be given to the patient any condition that is excessive bone resorption, such as osteoporosis, the more common cause, hypercalcemia, drug can cause the osteoporosis, and metabolic bone disease, Paget disease. They are also used in the to treat the heritable skeleton disorder in the children, such as osteogenesis imperfecta. What are the adverse effects? Or you can the side effect. Side effect is different with the individuals. So usually the upset stomach and inflammation and erosion of the esophagitis. This is the main problem that is associated with nitrogen containing preparations. So nitrogen containing preparation, what are the side effects or adverse effect is the stomach, upset stomach, and the inflammation and erosion of the esophagus. Intravenous bisphosphonate can cause fever and flu-like symptoms after the first infusions, and that is occurred due to the activate of the human T cells. But the first time it occurs, these symptoms do not reoccur with subsequent infusion. And bisphosphonate, when administered intravenously for the treatment of cancer, has been associated with osteonecrosis of the jaw. It means IV preparations. It has been suggested that bisphosphonate treatment should be postponed, but research team has reported the bisphosphonate use, that is the zoledronate, alendronate, as a risk factor. It can cause zoledronate, alendronate can cause atrial fibrillation in women. The FDA not yet confirmed this relationship between the bisphosphonate and atrial fibrillation. Some studies shows. Long-term risk factors. In large studies show the women taking bisphosphonate doses have had unusual fractures in the femur, thigh bones, and in the shaft, diaphysis, and subtruncal region of the bone, rather than at the head of the femur, which is the most common site of fractures. Long-term of bisphosphonate. All these are concerned with the long-term treatment of the bisphosphonate. And however, the unusual fractures, they are rare. And studies shows 12 and 14, 195 women compared to the common hip fracture. That can occur 270 women in 14 and 195 women. It means they are all over reduction in the hip fracture that is caused by bisphosphonate, the unusual shaft fracture. overweight. Due to the overweight, the patient may develop the shaft fracture, not the hip fracture. By taking the bisphosphonate, there reduction in the hip fractures. And 2020 trend suggests that the risk of esophageal cancer for the oral bisphosphonate for about the patient who have taken for the 5 years. But it is the study shows. Now the accepted treatment for the osteoporosis. What are the accepted treatment for osteoporosis? First, you prevent the measures. So what are the treatment we give? SERM, selective estrogen receptor modulator, that is the raloxifene and tamoxifen. Tamoxifen is approved. They inhibit, what are the mechanisms? They inhibit the bone breakdowns, and they also mimic the estrogen actions at the bone without the action of elsewhere. And it is used for the prevention and treatment of the osteoporosis. So what we use? SERM, tamoxifen and raloxifene. What is the action? They inhibit the bone breakdown. They also mimic the estrogen action at the bone without its action anywhere, and it is used for the both prevention and treatment of osteoporosis. And the second drug treatment is the bisphosphonate. They inhibit the bone or decrease the bone resorptions. And what is the mechanism of action? They involve the dissolution of the hydroxyapatite and decrease the osteoclast cells and their activity. They decrease the osteoclast cells and their activity. And third is the calcitonin. It is available synthetic polypeptide hormone. They also inhibit the bone breakdowns. And you know what is the calcitonin? Normal calcitonin are released from the thyroid T cells. It is a polypeptide, and that is also used for the hypercalcemic patient who have a thyroid and parathyroid function is normal. And what is the route of administration? Calcitonin. It is injected subcutaneously, intramuscularly. So they inhibit the bone resorption. And this hormone is also available as a nasal spray. And that is extracted from the Solmen. And this hormone is similar, identical with the human calcitonin. And it has a great potency. But its use is limited because it can cause the allergic reaction. When the patient may develop, so you stop the therapy. And what are the side effects of the calcitonin? Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, inflammation at the site of injection. And the can cause rhinitis, insomnia, anxiety, headache. And we also use the human parathyroid hormone, and the FDA approved is the teriparatide. It also have a role in to build the bone, to reduce the bone resorption or bone osteoclastic activity. And the osteoporosis treatment of the patient with osteoporosis frequently involve management. How you manage the acute fracture as well as the treatment of the underlying disease. The patient should be thoroughly educated to reduce the likelihood to any risk factor that is associated with bone loss, and for routine recovery, the supplement of the vitamin D, calcium, exercise in young individual. And the prevention of the osteoporotic fracture is critical to avoid the worldwide costly pandemic. Prevention program should be developed for the patient at risk and diagnose the patient who have diagnosed osteoporosis. And another treatment, anti-resorptic therapy, also called as anti-resorptic therapy. So what are the person who have a low bone mass, multiple risk factors? So in this case, we give the anti-resorptive. Again, the anti-resorptive include the estrogen, bisphosphonate. Again, same, the osteoporotic therapy. Bisphosphonate, selective estrogen receptor modulator, calcitonin, and replacement therapy, drug of choice, especially the postmenopausal women, and especially those who have early menopause, and the women who have had a hysterectomy. So we also use the ERT, estrogen receptor replacement therapy, estrogen replacement therapy. The patient who have a early menopause or who have a hysterectomy, early hysterectomy, in that case we also use the estrogen replacement therapy. So estrogen receptor therapy is particularly effective in the first few years after menopause when bone loss is most rapid. And again, the epidemiological studies have shown the prospective clinical trial of the estrogen suggest the estrogen receptor therapy or HRT decrease the risk of osteoporotic fracture 30 to 50%. Fracture is decreased the patient who have taken HRT or ERT. So because of the other anti-resorptive drug may have an additional effect when given with estrogen combination therapy. Patients, especially the patient who have a low bone density and who have a continued bone loss and fracture can occur. But the bisphosphonate are potent anti-resorptive. They directly inhibit the osteoclast activity. Bisphosphonate is the among them is the bisphosphonate is the potent anti-resorptive, meaning a breakdown breaking activity of the drug that directly inhibit the osteoclast activity for women who cannot tolerate estrogen and or have contraindicated. The patient who have a pre-existing breast cancer, risk factor for the breast cancer, the bisphosphonate are the next choice. The patient who cannot tolerate estrogen or have contraindication. So in that case, we give the bisphosphonate. The next choice of treatment. The patient who have a pre-existing breast cancer, risk factors for the breast cancer. So these drugs increase mass and decrease the risk of bone fracture, particularly especially the patient who have taking the glucocorticoid. One of the cause of osteoporosis is the glucocorticoid can cause osteoporosis. So in that case, we give the bisphosphonate to reduce the osteoclast activity. And especially the bisphosphonate, particularly the alendronate, are more potent, have also decreased the incidence of vertebral and non-vertebral fractures of the postmenopausal woman. Which one is the alendronate? Decrease the incidence of the vertebral and non-vertebral fractures of postmenopausal women. The alendronate is used to prevent and osteoporosis. It means the alendronate is more potent among the other. And second is the palmidronate, is only the drug that is available for IV for the treatment of hypercalcemia of pregnancy and Paget disease, but have been used in osteoporosis. So palmidronate is the IV preparations, alendronate is the oral preparations. That is more are potent. That is used for the osteoporosis, especially the patient who have a postmenopausal woman or who have a hysterectomy, who have a risk factor For the breast cancer, so we use the bisphosphonate. Pamidramines is the IV preparation that is available for the treatment of hypercalcemia of the malignancy and Paget disease. Another is the selective estrogen receptor modulator that are anti-estrogenic activity and anti-resorptic activity. So we also use the SERM. And what is example is the raloxifene and tamoxifen is used because it has an anti-resorptic activity. Calcitonin is a hormone, is a polypeptide, synthetic hormone that are used for the prevention and treatment of osteoporosis. Another therapy is also available, anabolic therapy that is used but it is under study. Parathyroid hormone, we also use intermittent injections to inhibit the bone resorption, but their safety and efficacy remain to be established. Sometimes the thiazide can be used clinically, can decrease the urinary excretion, calcium excretion, and slow bone loss. So helpful in the patient who have a hypercalciuria and osteoporosis. Those who have a idiopathic hypercalciuria, in that case we used. So these are the therapy, but depend on the signs and symptoms of the conditions of the patient and cause of the patient. But the main treatment is calcium, vitamin T, calcitonin, bisphosphonate, selective estrogen receptor modulators, parathyroid is also used, calcitonin, bone resorptions. And again, there are different studies show the human growth hormone, IGF are important for the skeleton growth, especially growth at the cartilaginous and endochondral bone formation. And glucocorticoid cause osteoporosis, but it has a both an stimulating inhibitory effect on the bone cells. But it is the side effect, it can cause a glucocorticoid induced osteoporosis. But it may be due to accelerated apoptosis of osteoclast and osteocyte. This is not the important. Thyroid hormone, estrogen, anti-estrogens. Again, they have some role, not the main role. They can cause options and bone formation. So especially the bone turnover, increase in hyperthyroidism, and the bone loss can occur. In that case, we give the estrogen and androgen. They also reduce the bone loss by many factors. They reduce the number and cavities, promote osteoclast, apoptosis, increase tissue growth factor, inhibit the release of tissue necrosis factors. Okay, here we have finished your topic, but you focus only what are the drugs that is used in osteoporosis. Use the calcium, vitamin D, selective estrogen receptor modulators, calcitonin, and bisphosphonate is more. And you should know its side effects, mechanism of actions, and name the nitrogenous and non-nitrogenous bisphosphonate, and each have a more potent. Which is the more potent you should know. And the side effect, what a pharmacokinetics is also important. And how you prevent the reflex esophagitis that is caused by bisphosphonate if you are taking the bisphosphonate with drug in a standing position. In this way, you prevent the reflex esophagitis that is caused by the nitrogen containing bisphosphonate. बस खत्म हो गया। सवाल वगैरह है कि नहीं वो देखते पड़ते हैं जी मैडम। अच्छा खुद ही खत्म मैंने करा भी खत्म हो गया मैडम चेक सर पे क्या सवाल है टाइम है कि नहीं है मैडम ब्रेकिंग अप इट क्यों डजंट चेंजिंग आरंट चेंजिंग क्या which are particularly used, nitrogen and non-nitrogen. Because the nitrogen can cause esophagitis. The condition of the patient. लिख के करना है?
नहीं मैडम, मैंने ऐसे ही जवाब दे दें, पढ़ के जो पढ़ लिया वही जवाब दे।
अच्छा अच्छा, यस यस यस, ओके। कौन है? सबिया फातिमा। अस्सलाम वालेकुम बेटा। You are important nitrogen and non-nitrogen containing. It depends upon the physician. We know what is the signs and symptoms of the patient. So you ask with the physician. Because the nitrogen containing is more potent and more resorptive osteoclast activity. But the clinically you ask with the physician. Okay. Okay, you have listened my voice? Okay, thank you. आगे आंसर। बल्कि यहाँ बैठ के देना ज़्यादा आसान लग रहा है मुझे, बहुत मतलब उससे हो गया तो उसका आगे ना, थैंक यू। और तो उससे और तो किसी ने सवाल नहीं किया था।
अब यहाँ से लीव होगा ना मैडम?
अच्छा, यहाँ से भी शेयरिंग, टाइम भी मैं देख रही थी इसलिए मैंने थोड़ा सा
लीव मीटिंग।
अच्छा लीव।
नहीं, जैसे मैडम की आ रही थी कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही।